mbalimbali ili atuneneshe machache. Karibu sana gavana wa Kitui.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Samuel Arap Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, Your Excellency, the First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Senegal, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Mozambique, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki and Dr. Joyce Kindiki, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, the Honorable Speakers of the the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly and the Senate, the Honorable Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court, and other judges who are here, Excellency Governors and Deputy Governors present, Members of Parliament, that is Senators and National Assembly members present, Cabinet and Principal Secretaries present, our distinguished heroes and heroines from all over the country, mabibi na mabwana, all protocols observed. I wish to warmly welcome you all to Kitui County, the venue for the 2025 Mashujaa Day celebrations for our nation. Your Excellency, the President, the people of Kitui are grateful for the opportunity we have been accorded to host this year's Mashujaa Day at this magnificent 10,000-seater stadium recently constructed by your government in a record 4.5 months from June 2025 to October 2025. Your Excellency, I recall vividly when I requested you to consider hosting one of the national days that are celebrated outside the capital city in Kitui County, either in 2025 or 2026. This was on 23rd February 2023 when you visited our county to launch the Level 4 Hospital at the Administration Police Border Patrol Unit Headquarters at Kanyonyo. And Your Excellency, here we are in 2025 celebrating Mashujaa Day in Kitui. This is indicative of your responsiveness as a national leader who is committed to inclusive service delivery and development in all parts of our country. Your Excellency, we are deeply honored that you granted our request. Asante sana. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, Mashujaa Day is a special occasion set aside under our Constitution to honor Kenyans who have sacrificed and exhibited courage and selflessness in the service of our nation. Today, as we celebrate Kenyan heroes and heroines, we wish to particularly salute those Kenyans such as Mekatilili Wamenza and Koitalel Arap Samoei, who firmly resisted colonialists. We also honor the Kenyan heroes who gallantly fought for the independence of our country, such as Dedan Kimathi and the Kapenguria Six. In the southeastern Kenya region, Your Excellency, we also have heroes and heroines who include Kivoi Wamwenda, a Kamba warrior and long-distance trader who resisted colonialists, Mwangeka wa Mailoa, a 19th century chief of Taita who led the community in opposing colonial rule, Sio Kimau and Muindimbingu who valiantly resisted colonialism. Other heroes and heroines from the region include Mbiti Mati, the first African National Assembly Speaker, Kitili Mwendwa, the first African Chief Justice, Zamba Kitonga, the chairperson of the Committee of Experts that harmonized various drafts that led to the 2010 Constitution, among others. The bravery, courage, and resilience of these heroes and heroines are an inspiration to the current and future generations to build a united and prosperous Kenya. Your Excellency, in our country, heroes and heroines are found in all walks of life. They include persons who significantly contribute to our economic development through engagement in the micro, small, and medium enterprises, such as mama mbogas, border operators, juakali traders, barbers, salonists, hawkers, among others. Such heroes and heroines are also found among teachers, nurses, security officers, community health promoters, firefighters, athletes, fishermen, and farmers. In a special way, Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity to applaud the departed former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, as an outstanding and awesome Mashujaa whom Kenyans are celebrating for championing multi-party democracy, constitutional reforms, promoting and defending devolution, and advocating for justice, rule of law, and inclusive governance. Your Excellency, in order to promote inclusive economic growth, your government has been implementing projects in our county focusing on agriculture, micro, small, and medium enterprises, rural electrification through the last mile connectivity program, roads and allied transport infrastructure, housing, healthcare, tourism, technical and vocational training, and the creative economy, including adoption of digital technology, music, arts, and sports. In appreciation, Your Excellency, kindly allow me to briefly highlight some of the projects that your government has undertaken recently in preparation for Mashujaa Day celebrations in Kitui municipality, and these include the construction of this 10,000-seater Ithokwe Stadium, the construction of the Kitui Mini State Lodge, 3, the rehabilitation of the Ithokwe Airstrip, 4, the expansion of rural electrification program to cover an additional 750 households. 5, upgrading to bitumen standard several roads within Kitui municipality. Your Excellency, there are 2 roads which were identified, tendered for, and recommended for award and implementation by KERA as part of the roads to be undertaken in preparation for Mashujaa Day to serve as entry and exit roads for the Ithokwe Stadium and the Kitui Airstrip. I would like to request you, sir, that they be implemented as initially planned to be ready for your commissioning when you come back to Kitui, and I believe very soon. These roads are Mulutu, Edhiani, Tiva, Kiliko Junction, and Makutano, Maithokwe, Mbusiani, Dhimani, Kolania to Edhiani Road. Your Excellency, there are other projects that are currently being undertaken and others earmarked for implementation by your government. These include markets. 2 have been completed, one at Kakongo in Mwingi West and another one in Kamuwongo in Mwingi North, and 10 others which have been proposed for construction. Then there is housing, the proposed construction of over 2,000 affordable housing units in Kitui, Mwingi, Mutomba, and Kabadi towns, in line with your commitment to provide decent and affordable housing for low and income households in all parts of the country. The proposed upgrading, also, Your Excellency, the proposed upgrading to bitumen standards of key roads such as Kwasikum-Bodoni Road, which you are to launch on Wednesday, when we got the sad news that the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga has left us, and programs which you had to be rescheduled. Then there is Kamuwongo Kanduya Road, which is in Mwingi North. Then there is Chuluni, Zombe Mwitika Road, which is in Kitui East. And then there is Ikuda Kanzikumuda Road, which is in Kitui South. Your Excellency, we have some proposed construction projects which Some have started, others are just about, and this includes student hostels, ASECO, and all the KMTCs in Kitui, that is in Mwingi, here in Kitui, and in Mutomo, and also at the Kabati Vocational and Training Institute. The proposed establishment of the Kitui Utalii College, and we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Kenya Utalii College to establish such a campus in the course of this year or early next year. The establishment of Technical and Vocational Training Institute, which are complete and are in use, and also the Kitui Livestock Training Institute and a modern livestock feedlot facility at Kanyonyo, which are intended to train mid-level professionals and to enhance the livestock value chain respectively. Also, Your Excellency, we have the ongoing construction of the proposed Kitui County Aggregation and Industrial Park at Kanyonyo, which is about 45% complete, and where aggregation and value addition of agricultural produce will take place. Also, in tourism, we have the rehabilitation of the South Kitui Game Reserve, a project where we are collaborating very closely with Kenya Wildlife Service. Your Excellency, we kindly request that you consider prioritizing the completion of the following projects. One, Umar Dam, which is ongoing, but the conductor is like he has abandoned the site, claiming his certificates are not being honored. Please let something be done about it so that he can complete that project. And thank you very much, really, for having it restarted, because it stalled some time ago. Yeah, soon. There is a Kedhombwani market in Kitui Town. Your Excellency, we thank you for instructing the PS Housing sometime in 2025 to work with our county towards the financing and completion of the said market. The other project is the Yenziu River Bridge, a critical project initiated after the December 4th, 2021 tragedy that claimed over 30 lives. And the other one is a project which has been started, which is Wikililia Kabisuni Thwake to Thwake Dam. There are a number of other projects which are listed here, but because I will not go through them, we believe, Your Excellency, you will be visiting us very soon as you had planned. We are going to put the projects which were proposed by the leadership in this county, that is members of parliament, as well as members of the county assembly. And I know it will not be good for me to go through all of them. Your Excellency, we acknowledge that you had initially planned to visit Kitui last week to launch several development projects across the country. This would have accorded the leadership of the people and the people of the county a valuable opportunity to meet and discuss some of the development priorities of our county with you. However, in light of the passing of the former Prime Minister, you called off all scheduled public engagement as a mark of respect to our departed hero, a gesture for which we commend you highly. Your Excellency, as I conclude, I wish to take this opportunity to thank the Mashujaa Day Technical and Steering Committees, which were led by Mr. Makori and PS Raymond Omondolo, respectively, and as well as the Regional Commissioner and the County Commissioner and the County Security Committee for the way we have worked closely, consulting and solving any problem which arises in a very amicable way. Let me reaffirm our shared commitment towards the implementation of projects that positively transform the lives of our people. And may this Mashujaa Day rekindle our spirit of service, patriotism, and unity as we build a stronger, more prosperous Kenya. Thank you, Your Excellency. Asante ni sana. God bless Kitui. God bless Kenya. Asante.
Tumpongeze tena kwa makofi Governor Dr. Julius Malombe. Kwa sasa Mheshimiwa Rais, naomba unipe ruhusa nimkaribishe His Excellency the Deputy President of this great nation, Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali akija. Karibu sana Naibu wa Rais.
Your Excellency President William Ruto, Your Excellency First Lady Rachel Ruto, Your Excellency President Faye, President of the Republic of Senegal, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Mozambique, fellow Kenyans, we gather here today on this Mashujaa Heroes Day to remember, reflect, and consider where our country has come from. Your Excellency, Sir, as you continue to lead us in this reflection, we continue to remember the many people who have sacrificed their time, their lives, and their comfort for our freedom. And even at this time, as we continue to mourn for our former Prime Minister, one of the greatest Kenyans to ever walk on our soil, we remember many more, those who have gone before us for selflessly protecting our sovereignty, defending our dignity, and emancipating the black person from colonial domination, for expanding our political rights and freedom, and expanding and perfecting our democracy. What remains is now to strengthen the foundations of our country, perfect the economic well-being of the people of our country, and as you lead us, Your Excellency, the future of Kenya looks certainly good because of the labor that those who came before us have put, and because of the labor that you continue to put, Your Excellency, and putting us together even as we take the vision of our forefathers forward. Mbaito mwaseo, mbaito mwaseo, mwaseo enge, mwaine museo, na mavira othe. Your Excellency, the President, today is not my day. My task is very simple. My task is to ask you, Your Excellency, Sir, to address the nation on this very special day in the history of our country. Mr. President, welcome. Karibu sana, Mheshimiwa Rais.
Asante sana. Ndugu wana wa Kitui, hamjambo? Kitui hoye! Mbaito muyaseo! Muyaseo inge! Muyaine museo! Na mavinda onde! Muyaiataiwe! Bwana Yesu asifiwe! Hebu nione kwa mikono. Bwana Yesu asifiwe! Asanteni sana, tunaweza kuketi chini. Your Excellency, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, President of Senegal, Your Excellency, Madam Adriano Alfonso Melain, Prime Minister of Mozambique, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, before I make my statement, wakati tulikubaliana na tukaamua ya kwamba sherehe ya Mashujaa mwaka wa 2025 itafanyika hapa Kitui kwa mara ya kwanza. Nilitafuta marafiki na leo tuko na bahati ya kuwa na rais wa Senegal, nchi rafiki, nchi ya Kenya. Ametutembelea sio tu Kenya, lakini ametutembelea hapa Kitui siku ya leo. Na vile vile nilimuuliza rafiki wetu mwingine, rais wa Mozambique, na kwa heshima kubwa alikuwa na shughuli nyingi, lakini ametuma Prime Minister wa nchi ya Mozambique na yuko hapa Kitui pamoja na sisi. Jameni, mnawakaribisha hawa marafiki zetu, mnawakaribisha hawa wageni wetu. Wapi nduru ya hawa wageni wetu jameni, watu wa Kitui? Kweli naona mmewakaribisha. Wacha nimualike in a very special way my brother Faye, on behalf of the government and people of Kenya. We don't take it for granted that you have taken time out of your busy schedule at home to come and visit us and participate in this national celebration, not necessarily in our capital city, but in our town of Kitui. We don't take it for granted, Mr. President, and the people of Kitui sincerely appreciate that you have made time to come all the way. I will now request you, Mr. President, to make some remarks as we celebrate our Heroes' Day here in Kitui in Kenya. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, my dear brother William Ruto, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Kenyan government, honorable members of the National Assembly and Senate, honorable members of Judiciary, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Honorable County Governor of Kitui, ladies and gentlemen, habari za asubuhi. Before I begin, I would like first to take this opportunity to renew the heartfelt condolences of the people of Senegal to the brotherly people of Kenya on the passing of Mr. Raila Odinga, a former Prime Minister and a great leader in the political history of Kenya. I pay tribute to the memory of the illustrious departed and express my deep compassion to President Ruto, to his family, and to the people of Kenya. May his soul rest in peace. I would like to thank President Ruto for the warm welcome and all the attention we accorded to me and my delegation since our arrival in this brotherly country, home to the wonders of Masai Mara and Kilimanjaro. I am here in the invitation of my brother, President William Ruto, as a guest of honor on this day celebrating Kenyan heroes. I express my gratitude to him for this gesture that shows the excellent quality of relations between our two countries. I'm also here because I'm deeply committed to the duty of remembrance. Our heroes deserve all honors. They deserve our respect. They deserve our admiration. The celebration of Kenyan heroes who risked their lives fighting for the independence of their country is a great tribute that commands respect and pride. The members of Mau Mau National Liberation Movement suffered fierce repression at the hands of those whose sole aim was to perpetuate the colonial order. Jomo Kenyatta, Asheng Oneko, Bildad Kagia, Fred Kubai, Kangu Kurungba, Paul Kay, and their companions suffered the worst horrors of the colonial power, leading to the death of thousands of Kenyans, countless arrests, torture, and massive internment. Their fate is a reminder that colonial history is not just about enslavement, but also and above all about struggle, dignity, and justice too long delayed. I would like to seize this opportunity to pay tribute to these worthy sons and daughters of Kenya and African whose memory must be etched out into our collective consciousness. I'd admire their courage and determination in the anti-colonial resistance. With their blood and sweat, they wrote a great page in the glorious history of liberation. Ladies and gentlemen, colonial repression was not an isolated case in Kenya. We suffered the same in Senegal, where anti-colonial national resistance movements blossomed against the European imperialist power offensive in Africa. Our fellow countrymen suffered unspeakable repression. For instance, on December 1944 at Charoy Black Barracks, innocent and unarmed Senegalese riflemen, along with their brothers in arms from other African countries, were massacred by the colonial power. Their only crime was to demand the payment of their allowance, bonuses, and other entitlements. This was one of many premeditated criminal acts, and the facts are undeniable. Out of duty of remembrance, truth, and justice, we cannot forget these horrors, nor the sacrifice of our national liberation heroes and founding fathers of our nation. The full history must be recalled. These valiant sons and daughters of Africa must be celebrated because celebration is an educational tool in the transmission of our values and virtues. This is why I initiated a series of activities to pay tribute to all victims of slavery, colonialism, and all past injustice. The first such initiative was to commemorate the 18th anniversary of the massacre of Senegalese riflemen last year. We are preparing to mark the second edition on December next, in communion with the 16 other troops contributing nations to the regiment commonly known as Senegalese riflemen. Ladies and gentlemen, to consolidate these various remembrance initiatives on the African continent, it is vital that we develop synergy in our efforts. I am on the view that to reclaim our history and restore the memory and dignity of these valiant Africans, we need to take several steps, including, first, build monuments and museums in honor of our heroes to serve as open spaces of reverence and remembrance. Second, build documentation and research centers to keep records, testimonies, and narratives about our heroes, while supporting research and education on this history of great African resistance fighters against slavery, colonialism, and worse form and injustice. Third, our streets, public squares, and buildings should bear the names of our heroes so that their sacrifice and faith of arms be etched into our daily life and collective history. Fourth, teach our history in our education curricula. Thus, future generation will grow up with a thorough understanding of these episodes of our past. Fifth, instead throughout Africa, days dedicated to our heroes, like the one we are celebrating today. This is what will sustain the memory of our heroes, just as sustainable energy solution, the theme of this year's celebration, will help transform our lives. With the mastery of energy and sufficiency production capacity, Africa shall build the foundation of her development, the engine for her economic transformation, and foster technological and social innovation. Long live the memory of Kenyan heroes. Long live the memory of African heroes. I thank you for your kind attention.
Wapi makofi ya Rais wa Senegal jameni. Asanteni sana. Wacha sasa nimuite kwa heshima kubwa Mama Prime Minister wa kutoka nchi ya Mozambique. You're welcome, Your Excellency, to make your statement. Please. Karibu.
Habari mchana. Sua Excelência William Ruto, Presidente da República do Quênia. Sua Excelência Bassirou Faye, Presidente da República do Senegal. Excelências, minhas senhoras, meus senhores, todo o protocolo observado.
Your Excellency William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellency Bassirou Faye, President of the Republic of Senegal. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed.
Iniciamos a nossa intervenção transmitindo as calorosas saudações e cumprimentos de Daniel Francisco Chapo, Presidente da República de Moçambique, a todos aqui presentes e, em particular, ao povo amigo e irmão queniano que hoje celebra o Mashujaa Day, Dia dos Heróis.
I begin my remarks by conveying warm greetings and best wishes from His Excellency Daniel Francisco Chapo, President of the Republic of Mozambique, to all those present here today, and in particular to the friendly and brotherly people of Kenya, who today celebrate Mashujaa Day, the Day of Heroes.
Manifestamos os nossos mais sentidos pésamos e condolências ao povo, governo queniano e à família enlutada pelo desaparecimento físico de Sua Excelência Raila Odinga.
We extend our deepest condolences and heartfelt sympathy to the people and government of Kenya and to the bereaved family on the passing of the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga.
Com seu desaparecimento físico, Quênia e todos os países africanos perdem um verdadeiro nacionalista cuja voz continuará a ecoar na luta por uma sociedade mais justa e democrática.
With his passing, Kenya, and indeed all African nations, have lost a true nationalist whose voice will continue to resonate in the struggle for a more just and democratic society.
Excelências, as festividades e comemorações do Dia de Heróis que hoje aqui assinalamos, para além de ser um momento de recordações e homenagens, constitui um momento de introspecção e reflexão de uma nação sobre os feitos dos seus melhores filhos que lutaram, morreram e sacrificaram por uma causa tão nobre que é a de libertar, construir, preservar e consolidar o seu país.
Excellencies, the festivities and commemorations of this Mashujaa Day, which we mark here today, are not only a time of remembrance and tribute, but also a moment of introspection, reflection for a nation, and time to honor the deeds of its finest sons and daughters who fought, died, and sacrificed for the noble cause of liberation, nation building, preservation, and consolidation.
Recordar os pais fundadores do país, Jomo Kenyatta e seus 5 companheiros, assim como outros heróis conhecidos e anônimos, é um ato de preservação da história coletiva do povo queniano.
To remember the founding father of the nation, the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, and his compatriots and contemporaries, including the members of the Kapenguria Six, as well as other known and unknown heroes, is an act of preserving the collective history of the Kenyan people.
Esta efeméride é também de reafirmação da sua visão, valores e determinação, elementos estes que continuam a servir de alicerce e bússola para a contínua construção de uma Quênia que se pretende cada vez mais desenvolvida, justa e inclusiva.
This occasion is also one of reaffirmation of Kenya's vision, values, and determination, elements that continue to serve as the foundation and compass for building a Kenya that aspires to be ever more developed, just, and inclusive.
Os seus ensinamentos, ideais e valores continuam vivos, não só no seio dos quenianos, como também dos povos africanos, constituindo ferramentas e referências fundamentais para que continuemos a construir e a consolidar as conquistas até aqui alcançadas.
Their teachings, ideals, and values remain alive, not only among Kenyans, but also among the peoples of Africa, serving as essential tools and points of reference as we continue to build upon and consolidate the gains attained thus far.
Na unidade reside a força, liberdade e dignidade que todos almejamos.
In unity lies the strength, freedom, and dignity we all seek.
Termino agradecendo pelo convite interessado a Moçambique para participar nas celebrações desta efeméride tão importante para o povo queniano e agradecendo a hospitalidade que nos tem sido concedida desde a nossa chegada.
In conclusion, allow us to express our sincere appreciation for the invitation extended to Mozambique to participate in the commemoration of this occasion, which is of great importance to the people of Kenya.
Muito obrigada. Asante sana.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Prime Minister. Wapi makofi ya mama Prime Minister wa kutoka Mozambique jameni, asanteni sana. Today we gather as a nation, as one people, here at Ithokwe Stadium in Kitui to celebrate Mashujaa Day, our National Heroes Day. Mashujaa Day is an occasion for remembrance, for celebration, and for reflection, and also a day for renewal. As you all know, yesterday we bid farewell to one of our country's most consequential and impactful sons, a towering statesman, a resolute patriot, and a quintessential hero, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, our former Prime Minister. This is the man, the legend, and the Pan-Africanist to whom we dedicate this Mashujaa Day. It is for this reason, fellow citizens, in his solemn memory, that I invite us all to now stand and observe a moment of silence in honor and celebration of his remarkable life and service to our great country, our continent, and to humanity. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sons and daughters of our motherland, Kenya, Raila Amolo Odinga aspired and labored for a Kenya that is free, that is fair, governed by the rule of law, and filled with limitless opportunity for all of us. Baba envisioned and fought for a nation where, in the immortal words of our national anthem, justice is everyone's shield and defender, where we all dwell in unity, peace, and liberty, and a Kenya that has plenty within its borders. It goes without saying that it is precisely because of great and irrepressible giants like Raila that we find within ourselves the courage and inspiration to go further, to dream bigger, and to pursue higher ideals. For greatness and nobility are never achieved by settling for the ordinary or the comfortable. They are seized by those who dare to push the frontiers of possibility, by those who refuse to be confined by what is, but instead reach boldly for what could be. It is in that restless, relentless pursuit of higher ideal, in that unyielding spirit of aspiration, that humanity advances and nations rise. For it is only by stretching beyond our limit that we discover our true strength and fulfill our full destiny. Fellow citizens, as we emerge from a week of profound sorrow and reflection, and as the nation continues to observe the 7 days of mourning on the passing of our former Prime Minister, it is both fitting and worthy that we anchor this year's Mashujaa celebration in the extraordinary and consequential life of our departed legend, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. In honoring his memory, we also draw from his journey of enduring lessons of courage, service, and unyielding love for country. The first lesson that Baba taught us is to put country above self. Time and again, he reminded us that no disagreement is greater than our unity, no ambition more important than our peace, and no personal interest higher than the welfare of our nation. He famously declared that he would shake the hands of his rivals, whether he won or lost, because he loved Kenya more than he loved Raila Amolo Odinga. That was the measure of the greatness of a man. Early this year, when I invited him to address our cabinet retreat, Baba reiterated the need to ensure, above all else, that Kenya remains a stable and a secure nation. He reminded us that we may hold lofty visions and great ambition, that we may dream big, daring dreams, but without a country and a stable political environment, they would remain mere wishes. Perhaps more significantly, he told us that an imperfect nation striving for perfection is far better than one that is consumed by chaos and anarchy. And he could readily point to countries in our region that were once stable, but later descended into turmoil and disorder, and decades on, they are yet to regain their stability. There are people still enduring untold suffering and loss. This is the critical lesson that those who criticized and faulted Baba for working with us to stabilize the nation forget or refuse to acknowledge, or they just simply don't care. When some saw the opportunity to bring down their competitors, even if it meant bringing down the country, Baba chose the stability of Kenya. For Agwambo, the specter of a failed state was too grave to contemplate. He understood that leadership is not about personal pride, but about preserving the republic. Not about victory in politics, but about preserving the stability of the nation we love, Kenya. Second, fellow citizens, Raila's love for Kenya was deep, steadfast, and unconditional. He once told us that if he were to die and God asked him where he would wish to be born again, he would say without hesitation, "Take me back to Kenya." Such was the depth of his devotion to our beloved nation. He knew that Kenya, like all nations, was not perfect, that nation building was work in progress, that it is only renewed with every generation. He understood that we are an imperfect people, always striving towards a more perfect union. Yet even in our flaws, he saw magic and beauty. In our struggles, he discerned promise, and in our contradictions, he could pick out hope and unity. To Raila, there was no place on earth more worthy of devotion, no people more deserving of faith, and no dream more noble than the Kenyan dream. Thirdly, Baba's life was an example of always choosing and closing ranks for the common good. When our nation faced turbulence last year, for example, I reached out across the political divide. Baba was the first to come to the table to help steady the ship of state, leading to the formation of the broad-based government that has since stabilized our economy and our nation. That is what heroes do. When the stakes are high, they rise above partisanship and put the country first. Even during the last election campaigns, when fate placed us once again on opposite sides of the political divide, Baba spoke words that will echo through generations. He said, and I quote, "I have been to the mountaintop. I have seen the glory land. I may not get there with you, but together we will get there." End of quote. In those words lay the essence of his leadership: selfless, visionary, and anchored in faith that Kenya's destiny transcends any individual. He reminded us that collaboration, even with rivals, is not an act of political convenience, but a sacred pact with posterity. For Baba, it was never about him becoming president. It was about Kenya having a good president, and Kenya moving from a third world status to a first world status in a short time as possible, so that we, as a people and as a nation, can realize our true potential. The glory land that he saw at the mountaintop is the better, the greater, and the more perfect union for which we must now, on this Mashujaa Day, dedicate ourselves anew. Fourth, our former Prime Minister was a foremost preacher of national unity. He tirelessly reminded leaders and citizens alike that our overarching identity is not defined by tribe, region, or creed, but by the sacred bond of being Kenyan. He often urged us to think Kenya first, to let the idea of one nation under one flag rise above all else. And he lived by that creed. When in 2002, he stood before the nation and declared Kibaki Tosha, it was not because he was unaware of where President Kibaki came from. It was because he saw, beyond geography and ethnicity, he saw Kenya as one united nation under God. Fellow countrymen and women, it would therefore be a desecration of his legacy if we were to allow ourselves to be divided by sectarian interests, by the peddlers of hate, or by the see nothing good about Kenya battalion. The fifth lesson from Baba's life is one of unshakable faith in the future. He was a die-in-the-wool eternal optimist. Through every trial, setback, and triumph, the Right Honorable Raila believed that Kenya's best days were still ahead. He endured prison, persecution, and political defeat, yet never surrendered to bitterness or gave in to hopelessness. His optimism wasn't anchored on naivety. It was courage in motion. His life was a constant reminder that no setback is final, no dream too distant, and no obstacle insurmountable for a people determined and are united by purpose. At this juncture, fellow patriots, allow me to share reflections on the future of our great country, drawn from my intimate and wide-ranging conversations with the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga in the final months of his remarkable journey, as well as with leaders from across the political divide. In our engagements, Baba often spoke with immense passion and at times frustration about the pace of our national progress. He would often wonder why nations like South Korea, Singapore, or Malaysia, which were once at par with Kenya just a few decades ago, had leapt forward to first world status while we still grapple with the basics. In those moments of honesty and deep introspection, we came to a shared conclusion that the true driver of national development is leadership. And I repeat, is leadership. Not leadership focused on the next election, but leadership that aspires to impact the next generation. Leadership that dares to dream beyond its time and even its capacity. Leadership that is bold, visionary, and relentless in pursuit of the common good of our nation. And we agreed that if Kenya is to attain first world status within our lifetime, as it must, we should set for ourselves daring, audacious goals and pursue them with unwavering focus. It is in this very conviction, ladies and gentlemen, that has guided my engagements with leaders and stakeholders from across the political divide. I have consulted with my former boss, the fourth president of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. I have held discussions with majority of members of parliament, and they are here. I have consulted with many governors and grassroots leaders from every corner of the nation. And I will continue to engage because Kenya's progress must never be a partisan pursuit. It is a national inclusive mission. Through these deliberations, I have arrived at a clear conclusion that although we have made commendable progress in stabilizing the nation over the last 3 years, the time has come to take the country to the next level. And to do so, we must act decisively on at least 3 national priorities. Our first priority is food security. We cannot speak of prosperity while spending over 500 billion shillings every year importing food into Kenya, including maize, importing wheat, rice, sugar, edible oil, among many. This is not just an economic burden to us, it is a threat to our sovereignty. A nation that cannot feed itself, ladies and gentlemen, is not a nation that can claim to be free or sovereign. The only viable path available for us towards this goal now, fellow citizens, is through the expansion of irrigation and the modernization of our agriculture. Rain-fed farming can no longer sustain our growing population or our aspirations. That is why we have now set an ambitious target to build at least 50 mega dams across Kenya and to bring at least 2 million acres under irrigation. Let me emphasize that this is not a far-fetched dream. It is a necessity that must be realized within the next decade. We must become not only a food secure nation, but also a major exporter of farm produce in the coming years. We have many markets that we have negotiated. We have the American markets under ACOA. We have the Chinese market that is now open for us. We have the European market that we have negotiated under the Economic Partnership Agreement. We have the Africa Continental Free Trade Area market of 1.4 billion that we can export to. Our second priority is enhance value addition, agro-processing, and manufacturing through industrialization. To transform Kenya into a prosperous, job-creating, wealthy nation, we must become a country that makes things, not merely buys or imports them. A country that exports finished products, not raw materials. A country where industries absorb labor, spur innovation, and expand wealth across every region. We are already laying the foundation for this transformation. Through the Africa Growth and Industrialization Initiative, and in partnership with the Afri-Exim Bank, we are establishing special economic zones in different parts of Kenya, in Rea Vipingo, in Dongo Kundu, in Naivasha, in Sagana, in Thika, in Nakuru, in Eldoret, in Busia, in Kisumu, and many other special economic zone areas that we are finding land. These zones will host textile, agro-processing, assembly, and light manufacturing industries, creating tens of thousands of jobs. At the county level, as was mentioned by the governor of Kitui here, we are rolling out county aggregation and industrial parks in all 47 counties. These parks will link farmers to processors, entrepreneurs to markets, and small entrepreneurs to national and regional value chains. We are unwavering in our vision that everything Kenya produces must be processed in Kenya. Tea must leave Kenya not as raw leaves, but as packaged excellent tea. Coffee, not as cherries, but as a premium blend for international markets. Cotton, not as lint, but as fabric and fashion. Hides, not as raw skin, but as leather shoes and bags branded, made in Kenya. But we cannot industrialize, ladies and gentlemen, without reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy. That is why we have set our sights on expanding Kenya's energy generation capacity from the current 2,300 megawatts to at least 10,000 megawatts within the next decade. As a former Minister for Energy, Raila Odinga was a strong advocate for the rapid expansion of our energy capacity through multiple sources, including hydro, geothermal, solar, wind, and also energy. Just for the record, already a lot of research is going on the development of the first nuclear energy plant in Kenya, in Siaya County. With abundant energy, we shall power factories, light every home, and drive Kenya to become the industrial hub of East Africa and the continent. Our third critical area of focus is infrastructure development. Again, Baba, who also served as a Minister for Roads and Public Works and Housing under the late President Kibaki, often reminded me that no economy can flourish without world-class infrastructure. It is in this context that we have committed to dual at least 1,000 kilometers of major highways, including the Rironi, Nakuru, Mau Summit, Eldoret, Malaba Road, Makutano, Embu, Meru Road, Kitengela na Manga Road, Mombasa, Nairobi Highway, and Maroa, Nanyuki, Isiolo roads, among others, and construct an additional 10,000 kilometers of new tarmac roads linking counties, linking farmers, traders, and manufacturers to markets across the nation, and complete the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Kisumu and onward to Malaba, seamlessly connecting Kenya to Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and DRC, the very heart of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area dream. Fellow citizens, to some, these projects may seem too ambitious, perhaps even out of reach. But this is precisely where bold, visionary, and heroic leadership comes into play, the kind that Raila Odinga embodied. It is the reason that on this Mashujaa Day, in recognition of his extraordinary contribution and enduring legacy, the government and the people of Kenya inscribe Raila Odinga's name among the foremost of our heroes under the public seal of the Republic of Kenya. On behalf of a grateful nation and through the authority vested in me as president, I have today posthumously conferred upon the Right Honorable Raila Odinga the highest honor of the Republic, the Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart of Kenya. Fellow citizens, I recall that when I spoke during Raila Odinga's state funeral, I wondered, where will another Raila come from? The truth is, there will forever be only one Raila Amolo Odinga, a single spirit, a towering patriot, and a hero for ages. But if we, the people he so deeply loved and served, choose to live by the lessons he's taught us, to love Kenya more than we love ourselves, to put unity above division, to aspire for greater, and to serve with courage and conviction, then we can become a great nation of 50 million heroes. And in doing so, Kenya will rise from the heights once thought unimaginable within our generation. That, fellow patriots, is our noble challenge on this Mashujaa Day. Kabla sijamaliza hotuba yangu, ndugu wananchi wa Kitui na Kenya, kwanza mimi nataka niwashukuru sana wananchi wa Kitui kwa sababu mmekuja kwa wingi sana. Tuko na halaiki ya watu wengi sana hapa Kitui leo, na mmekuja hapa kuunganisha na kuungana na ndugu zenu wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Leo Kenya mzima inajulikana, sherehe ya Mashujaa inafanyika katika mji wa Kitui. Wana Kitui, watu wa Kitui, asanteni sana kwa kuwa wenyeji na kwa kutusaidia in hosting this great day as we celebrate Kenyan heroes. Kutoka kwangu na serikali nzima la taifa la Kenya, nawaambia watu wa Kitui, asanteni sana. Nyinyi pia kwa kufanya tendo hili la kuunganisha Kenya, nyinyi pia watu wa Kitui na wapigia salute kama mashujaa wa taifa letu la Kenya. Nyinyi mnajua nilikuwa na mpango ya kutembea hapa Kitui kwa shughuli ya mambo ya maendeleo ya taifa letu, hasa mambo ya maendeleo ya Kitui County. Ilikuwa nije hapa Wednesday na nikuwe hapa tena Ijumaa na nikuwe tena hapa kesho na kesho kutwa. Nilikuwa nimepanga safari ya siku 5 hapa Kitui na pia katika sehemu zingine za Ukambani. Lakini kwa sababu ya msiba tuliopata, hiyo ziara yangu sasa nitaipeleka mbele kidogo. Wiki 2 zijazo mimi nitakuwa hapa. Mimi nitakuwa hapa. Na nitakuwa hapa makusudi kwa sababu Kitui, Ukambani kwa siku nyingi imewachwa nyuma. Na mimi nimesema kwa vyovyote Mungu anijalie hii Ukambani haitawachwa nyuma tena. Nataka munisikize jameni, ndugu zangu watu wa Kitui. Sisi ni wananchi wa taifa moja. Sisi ni wananchi wa nchi moja, taifa letu la Kenya. Siasa ya zamani ya ubaguzi, siasa ya migawanyiko na chuki na ukabila ndio imetuletea hasara ya sehemu zingine za Kenya kuachwa nyuma kwa sababu ya siasa duni ya kubagua wananchi wengine. Ndio mimi nimesema kwa vyovyote hii Ukambani haitawachwa nyuma tena. Mnanielewa? Wacha nirudie. Maneno ya zamani ya kusema sijui bomwe, sijui betwe, Ukambani ikabaki nyuma, haitatendeka tena. Nasikia hata kuna wengine wanajaribu kueneza siasa ndogo ati maskini jeuri. Iko maskini jeuri ya kufanya nini? Hakuna umaskini itabaki hapa Ukambani. Tunataka tuungane, tushirikiane, tufanye kazi kwa pamoja. Nataka munisikize ndugu zangu watu wa Ukambani. Hii stadium tulijenga kama serikali ya Kenya. Tumeweka hapa milioni 750 tujenge hii stadium na bado haijakamilika. Tangojea pengine mwezi moja ikikamilika, tumejenga kila mahali, tumeweka parking mzuri, nitakuja kufungua rasmi ikiwa imekamilika. Na ni kwa sababu tunafanya hivi sio Ukambani peke yake. Tunafanya hivi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Pia nimeamrisha wizara ambayo inahusika na michezo pia tujenge stadium kama hii pale Machakos, na tujenge stadium kama hii pale Wote, pale Makueni, kwa sababu nchi ya Kenya ni nchi ambayo inajulikana na ni mashuhuri kwa mambo ya michezo, na sababu hiyo stadium and infrastructure ya mambo ya michezo lazima tuwe nayo. Wewe Waziri Mburia unajua vile utafanya tukamilishe hii, ili mapema mwaka ujao tuanze Machakos na tuanze pale Makueni, kwa sababu tunataka Ukambani itembee sambamba na sehemu zingine za taifa letu la Kenya. Hapa vile vile tumejenga uwanja wa ndege. Mimi nataka niwaeleze ya kwamba hiyo uwanja haijakamilika. Bado tutajenga terminal building. Tunataka hiyo uwanja ikae kama viwanja zingine za ndege sehemu zote za Kenya. Hapa vile vile kiongozi gavana amesema kuna barabara tulisema tumetengeneza. Kuna zingine zimekamilika, kuna zingine bado. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie yale yote ambayo tuliweka katika mpango yetu tutakamilisha kwa sababu tunataka wakati tunabadilisha Kenya, pia Ukambani inabadilika. Sio hivyo peke yake. Nyinyi mnajua ya kwamba mulituuliza tujenge barabara kutoka Kibwezi na mulisema hiyo barabara iende mpaka ishikane kule Mwingi. Hiyo barabara tulijenga ikakuja ikakwama mahali fulani pale. Mahali naitwa kwa siku ama ni kwa nani? Kwa siku hapo. Sasa mimi nataka niwatangazie. Mahali hiyo barabara ilikwama. Sasa nimetafuta pesa ya kuikwamua, kujenga ifike Migwani mpaka ifike Mbondoni, iungane na barabara ya kwenda Garissa. Tunaelewana jameni? Na nishamwambia Waziri Davis Chirchir yuko hapa kwamba hiyo barabara sitaki tena mambo ya barabara hiyo kukwama. Tunataka tukamilishe hiyo barabara kwa sababu mpango yetu ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba Kenya inasonga mbele. Nyinyi mnajua hizo barabara na miradi mingine nyingi zilikwama kwa muda mrefu kwa sababu tulikuwa na matatizo na uchumi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Na niliwauliza kwa unyenyekevu, munipatie nafasi kidogo ninyoroshe mambo ya uchumi. Sasa mimi nataka niwatangazie uchumi wa Kenya sasa iko steady. Na sasa tuko na mpango kamili ya vile tutasukuma mambo ya maendeleo ya taifa letu mbele. Vile vile viongozi wetu hapa walituuliza ya kwamba kuna barabara ingine ya kutoka Chuluni kwenda Zombe mpaka Mwitika. Hiyo barabara vile vile sasa tuko na contractor na tutawajengea hiyo barabara kwa sababu tunataka tuhakikishe watu wa Kitui East, na mimi najua mbunge wenu Bwana Nimrod Mbai yuko hapa, ni mtu msumbufu sana, ananiuliza hii barabara kila mwaka. Vile vile nimeongea na mama anaitwa Rachel Nyamai ya kwamba barabara ya kutoka Ikudha kwenda Mudha mpaka Mutomo, hiyo barabara pia tuijenge, na tayari tumepata contractor wa kujenga hiyo barabara. Vile vile mnajua kuna barabara ilikwama kule Mwingi, ile barabara ya kutoka Kamuongo kwenda Kandwiwa. Hiyo barabara vile vile sasa tuko na pesa ya kukamilisha section ambayo ilikuwa imekwama pale. Vile vile nyinyi mnajua tumepoteza watu wengi, vile governor alivyosema pale Enziu Bridge. Hiyo daraja imekuwa daraja ya maafa. Mimi nataka niwaeleze sasa watu wa Ukambani, waziri yuko hapa, nimempatia maagizo na nimesema kabla ya Februari mvua ianze mwaka ujao, hiyo daraja iwe imekamilika, ndio tusiwe tena na maafa katika hiyo barabara. Tumeelewana watu wa Ukambani na Kitui? Vile vile nataka mnisikize kwa makini. Hapa Kitui pia tuko na mpango mkubwa ya kusambaza stima. Nilikuwa nije hapa hiyo siku kwa sababu ya harakati hiyo ya kusukuma stima. Mimi naelewa kupitia kwa viongozi wenu ya kwamba bado tuko na wananchi wengi hawajafikiwa na huduma ya stima. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Sababu hiyo serikali ya Kenya imetoa pesa shilingi bilioni 2.2 kuunganisha manyumba ya wananchi hapa Kitui 16,500 mpya between now and February next year. Hizo manyumba 16,000 tutakuwa tumeziunganisha stima, na baadaye tutakubaliana, baada ya hiyo awamu tutapanga tena vile tutahakikisha kwamba stima inafika kwa manyumba zenu na tunaondoa giza, ndio shetani ashindwe. Mimi vile vile nataka niwaeleze ya kwamba hapa Kitui kupitia program yetu ya affordable housing markets pamoja na hostels, tumewapatia budget ya shilingi bilioni 15 ya Kitui. Tayari tuko na projects ya shilingi bilioni 7. Tuko na soko, mmesikia governor akisema soko kubwa ya Kitui Town. Hiyo soko kubwa ya Kitui Town sasa tutaichukua kutoka county, tutaimaliza, tutaikamilisha. Vile vile soko ya Mwingi Town. Pia pale Mwingi Town tunataka kujenga soko kubwa kwa sababu mji wa Mwingi ni mji mkubwa. Vile vile kuna soko ya mahali inaitwa Kalundu. Ni mnajua mahali Kalundu iko. Na soko pale Kabati pia tunataka kujenga soko kubwa. Na vile vile Mutomo tujenge soko kubwa. Alafu tuko na soko zingine 10 katika sehemu mbalimbali. Soko yote tunajenga hapa Kitui ni soko 14 mpya ambayo itasaidia wakulima wetu waweze kupata mahali ya kupeleka mazao yao isiharibike. Tuwe na storage, tuwe na cold room, tuwe na mahali ya kuuza, mahali kuna heshima, mahali kuna maji, mahali kuna stima, na mahali wale wote wanaofanya hiyo biashara wanaweza kuendesha biashara hiyo bila ya matatizo yeyote. Vile vile sasa tumepatiana kandarasi ya hostels ya vijana katika TVET zetu, universities hapa Kitui. Wanafunzi 5,600 watafaidika kutoka hostels ambazo tumetangaza kandarasi na tutajenga in the next 1 year ziwe zimekuwa complete. Mimi naelewa vile vile kwamba hapa Kitui tuko na shida ya mambo ya maji. Kweli si kweli? Mnajua tuko na damu kubwa hapa Thwake. Na hiyo damu imejengwa muda mrefu. Mimi sasa nataka niwatangazia kwamba tumepata pesa bilioni 9 ya kukamilisha hiyo damu ya Thwake. By April, May next year, that dam will be complete na itasaidia watu wa Kitui, watu wa Makueni na watu wa Machakos. Tutaweza kupata maji ya manyumbani na maji ya irrigation. Na ili kuondoa chafu, nyinyi mnajua hiyo mto ambaye inatoka Nairobi ndio inaleta maji mpaka hapa Kitui. Pia kule Nairobi ndio tusiwaletee maji machafu. Kule Nairobi tuko na mpango kubwa ya kusafisha Nairobi River ambayo inaendelea saa hizi. Tuko na vijana karibu 40,000 wanashughulika na kusafisha Nairobi River ili maji itakayotoka kule iingie hapa Kitui, iende Thwake, isiwe ni maji machafu. Tuhakikisha kwamba mnapata maji masafi ndio tuweze kutumia manyumbani na vile vile tuweze kutumia kwa mambo ya kilimo. Vile vile umesikia kiongozi wamesema ya kwamba pia Umadam. Hii Umadam ilianzishwa miaka 15 iliyopita. Sasa hii ni aibu kidogo. Hii dam jameni, mimi nataka tumalize hii dam by next year, hata kama haijafika mwezi wa 4 tumalize hiyo dam. Hii dam haiwezi kuwa inajengwa watoto watazeeka tukijenga hiyo dam. Kwa hivyo mimi nimemwambia waziri, na waziri yuko hapa, Bwana Muridhi, mambo ya hiyo dam, whatever it takes, we must get the resources and complete that dam, kwa sababu watu wa Kitui wanahitaji maji kutoka dam hiyo ya hapo Uma. Na vile vile niwaeleze ya kwamba tayari tuko na mpango ya dam ya High Grand Falls ambayo iko kati ya kaunti yenu ya Kitui na kaunti ya Tharaka Nithi katika sehemu ile ingine. Katika zile dams 50 ambazo nimesema tutazijenga, mega dams just like Thwake, one of them is going to be the High Grand Falls Dam that we are now planning on how we are going to complete that dam. Nataka kusema mambo mawili ya mwisho. Nyinyi mnajua tumesema ya kwamba tunataka mambo ya afya isiwe ni starehe ya watu matajiri ama watu walio na kazi ama wale wako na uwezo. Tunataka afya iwe ni haki ya kila Mkenya. Na sababu hiyo ndio tumeweka mpango mpya wa universal health coverage ambayo itahakikisha kwamba kila Mkenya anaweza kwenda hospitali yeyote atibiwe na mpango wa serikali iweze kulipia gharama ya hospitali. Watu wa hapa Kitui, katika orodha yetu ama statistics yetu, watu wa Kitui ambao mumejiandikisha kwa SHA ni watu 405,000. Watu 405,000 wamejisajili kwa watu 1,100,000, kumaanisha 36% ya watu wa Kitui wamejiandikisha. Mimi nataka niwaulize wananchi wa Kitui, kujiandikisha ni bure. Wewe ujiandikishe. Ukijiandikisha itatusaidia kujua madawa ambayo inahitajika ni kiasi gani, wauguzi ni kiasi gani, equipment ya kutumia katika matibabu ni kiasi gani. Na vile vile tumeweka pesa ya serikali kusema kila mwananchi, wewe mtu ya Kitui, ukienda kwa hospitali na umejiandikisha kwa SHA, utoe evidence yako kwamba umejiandikisha kwa SHA. Utatibiwa, utadungwa sindano kama ni kudungwa sindano, ama upatiwe dawa kama ni kupatiwa dawa, na serikali ya Kenya itakulipia, usilipe chochote. Na kama kuna hospitali inalipisha wananchi, mimi nataka wananchi wapige ripoti kwa polisi, kwa sababu gharama ya hospitali tumeweka pesa ya serikali ya kulipia gharama ya hospitali kwa Wakenya wote. Kitui mnanielewa? Kitui mnanielewa? Mimi vile vile nataka nitangaze nikiwa hapa Kitui leo kwamba katika mpango wetu wa kupanga ajira na usaidizi wa vijana wa Kenya, tukishirikiana na benki ya kimataifa ama World Bank, tuko na pesa shilingi bilioni 20 ya vijana wa taifa letu la Kenya. Na katika hiyo mpango tunataka vijana 800,000 ili tuwajumuishe katika mipango tofauti tofauti. Tumewaambia vijana wa Kenya wajiandikishe pale katika mtandao *254#. Hapo ujiandikishe, utakuta mahali imeandikwa hapo nyota. Uingie hapo ndani ujiandikishe. Number 1, kama wewe ni kijana, haujaenda shule, hauna kosi yeyote umefanya, tunatafuta vijana 90,000 ya kuwapeleka katika courses tofauti tofauti kwa gharama ya serikali ya Kenya. Hautalipa chochote, lakini tutakupeleka college na utapata vile unaweza kujisimamia ukiwa sasa umepata course ama umepata ufundi wa aina tofauti tofauti. Ya pili, tunatafuta pia vijana wale ambao mnafanya kazi, mko na skill, wewe ni fundi lakini hauna makaratasi ya kutambua ya kwamba wewe ni fundi. Pia tuko na mpango ambayo inaitwa recognition of prior learning, ili wewe ambaye uko na ujuzi, uko na ufundi tayari, uko na skill tayari, tukusaidie, tukufanyie recognition of prior learning ili ukuwe na certificate. Wakati unaenda mahali unaenda kutafuta kazi, sasa utakuwa na stakabadhi ya kujua ya kwamba wewe ni fundi wa aina hii, ama aina nyingine. Ya tatu, pia tunatafuta vijana wenye biashara ndogo ndogo. Kama wewe ni kijana wa miaka 19 ama kati ya miaka 19 na 29, tunatafuta vijana 1,100 tutakao wapatia kila mmoja wao 50,000 kuendesha biashara zao. Vijana mko, munisikize vizuri. Ijumaa, Friday 24th, hii inakuja. Leo ni Monday, unahesabu Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Katika kila constituency tunafanya verification ya vijana ambao wako na biashara, ili tuwasaidie na pesa muweze kuinua biashara zenu, ili mchangie katika kuzalisha uchumi wa Kenya. Ndio sote tuungane tufukuze umaskini katika taifa letu la Kenya. So on Friday there will be verification in every constituency in Kenya. The 290 constituencies, there will be verification of the young people who will then benefit from resources that will help them grow their businesses. And I am asking that in this verification, we are looking for 100,000 young people, so that we can give each one of them 50,000 shillings for them to enhance their businesses wherever they will be. And I want to ask all leaders, viongozi wetu, magavana, wabunge, MCAs, tusaidiane ili vijana ambao wanafaa kupatiwa hizi pesa tuwatambulishe, ndio tuinue hali ya uchumi ya vijana wetu, wakati tunazidi na kupanga vile vijana wetu wote watajumuika aidha kwa biashara ama kwa kazi, ndio tuweze kusukuma taifa letu la Kenya mbele. Mwisho, na mimi nataka niseme, tutaanza disbursement ya hiyo pesa tarehe 4 mwezi ujao. In another 2 weeks, we will now start the disbursement of the money to the youth that will have been identified beginning 4th of next month, 4th of November, in the coming 2 weeks, so that we can run that program and see how many young people can benefit from that program. Hapa Ukambani, mimi najua kilimo yenu kubwa ni mambo ya pulses, cowpeas, na ile peas zingine zote pamoja na ndengu, na vile vile matunda, oranges, pamoja na mangoes. Na nishaongea na viongozi wa sehemu hii. Gavana wenu Malombe nishaongea na yeye, anajua, we spoke sometime last year on a comprehensive plan of making sure that those agricultural products that can be manufactured from this region are elevated and become part of our bottom-up economic transformation plan, to make sure that every part of Kenya, kama tunasaidia wengine kwa mambo ya kahawa na chai na sukari na mahindi na ngano, hapa Ukambani vile vile tunaweza kuwainua kwa yale mimea ambayo yanazalishwa katika sehemu hii. Ndugu watu wa Kitui, mimi nataka nimalizie kwa kuwauliza jameni, na wauliza ninyi watu wa Kitui, nikiwauliza ndugu zetu wote wa taifa letu la Kenya, imefika wakati katika taifa letu la Kenya, vile nimesema, tuwache kuagiza vyakula kutoka nje. Inawezekana tuzalishe chakula ya kutosha Kenya. Tunatumia zaidi ya bilioni 500 kila mwaka kuagiza chakula kutoka nje, na ndio nimesema, ili tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba tunazalisha chakula ya kutosha, ili tuweze kuwa na products ambazo tutatumia katika masoko ile ambayo tumepata, ni lazima sasa tuwe na pesa ya kutengeneza dams ama mabwawa ya maji 50, yale yanaitwa mega dams, ndio tuweze kuzalisha chakula kutokana na kunyunyiza maji mashamba yetu, because all indications are that we are slowly exhausting land that we can generate food from rain-fed agriculture. That is why we need to build 50 mega dams, even if it will cost us between 900 billion and 1 trillion shillings. That money we can raise here in Kenya. We need to generate more energy. We cannot industrialize. We cannot be a manufacturing country if we have only 2,300 megawatts of energy. We need to generate, at the minimum, 10,000 megawatts so that we can power our industries. We can power our agro-processing and value addition and create products that we are going to export to the markets that we have already negotiated. And thirdly, we must build infrastructure. The late Raila Odinga told us you cannot be a progressive first world country without first world infrastructure. We need to do more roads. That's why I've said we need to do 10,000 kilometers of tarmac. We need to do more dual-link of roads. We need to do our airports. We need to do infrastructure that is going to support the progress and the prosperity of our nation. I want to ask us, I am asking leaders here in Ukambani, I am asking leaders, members of parliament from across Kenya, governors from across Kenya, I am asking political leaders from across Kenya that we hem in together, we rally together and lift this nation. Kenya is ripe for transitioning from a third world country to a first world country because we have what it takes and we have the resources that will lift this country forward. We will be moving to parliament for us to set up the National Infrastructure Fund, a fund that is going to be funded from our taxes, from proceeds, from privatization, and from other development partners, so that we have a dedicated fund that is going to drive our energy generation, the construction of the dams, the construction of infrastructure, the same way other countries have done. And together with that, we are also going to set up a fund that is going to look after our future. We are going to set up a fund that is going to preserve wealth for the next generation of Kenyans, so that everything we generate today, we don't consume today. And I want to ask leaders from across Kenya that together, united, we can lift this country to the next level. I want to ask all our political leaders, there is time for everything. Jomo Kenyatta told us, as we celebrate the heroes of today, we must be architects of the future. And together, we can design a better future for our nation. Ndugu watu wa Kitui, sijui kama tumekubaliana tutatembea pamoja ama mnasemaje Kitui? Kitui tuko pamoja? Kitui hoye! Kitui hoye! Mnasema tutembee pamoja? Mnasema tuungane kama Wakenya? Pamoja. Tuache ukabila. Tuache chuki. Tuache migawanyiko. Tuungane. Wangapi wanasema tuungane jameni, watu wa Ukambani na watu wa Kitui? Asanteni sana. Ninawapenda sana. Nawatakia baraka ya Mungu. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Mheshimiwa Rais, mabibi na mabwana, kwa heshima naomba sote tusimame kwa wimbo wa taifa na wimbo wa Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki tukiongozwa na bendi ya majeshi. Bendi tafadhali.